What do I know? I'm just a girl on the internet. Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Girl on the Internet. I'm your girl on the internet and your host, Kayla. Thanks so much for being here. I'm so excited. Today is kind of a big deal because unless you have missed it, I've been hinting at today for a few weeks now. I've been kind of like teasing it here and there, which is super annoying. I know that so many content creators, influencers, like whatever you want to call them, they're always like, stay tuned, something big is coming. It's like big announcement. Something so exciting is happening, but I can't tell you about it. It's like something special. I was kind of doing that, but I tried not to be obnoxious about it because it can be very annoying to be like, okay, it's not that deep. But I've been hinting at today because Girl on the Internet's getting a little bit of a makeover. If by chance you clicked on this episode to listen to, then you've already seen it, but we have new cover art and I'm so excited because I worked really, really hard at recreating and just giving Girl on the Internet the glow up that she deserves. I guess we can call this season 2 because technically I'm 50 plus episodes in, which would consider season 2 because if I do 50 episodes, 52 episodes a year, then we would be in season 2. So we're going to call it season 2. But also we have something else really exciting, which is, drumroll, it's a one-man show out here. One-woman show, shall I say. We have video content. Woo! Pew, 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 pew. Yes, video content is coming in hot. So if you're listening to this right now, chances are you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, something like that, because the release date for this episode is Monday. That's typically when I upload the audio form. But now we've got video form coming every single Tuesday, which is really fun, really exciting. A lot of people actually had been asking and requesting for video content, which honestly, I didn't know that many people were interested in video forms of a podcast. So I'm happy to deliver. For those of you that like to watch something on your TV, I don't know how entertaining I'm going to be for you, but now you can watch me. So hello. The audio you're listening to right now, the video form will be up on Tuesday and it will be up on my main YouTube channel, which if you're not subscribed, you should. We are getting close to 100,000 subscribers, but I'm just going to be uploading my podcast video form on that channel every single Tuesday. So you can listen to the audio form on Monday, the video form on Tuesday. If you prefer video, if you prefer audio, you can pick and choose. But welcome. Hello. If you're watching the YouTube video on Tuesday, hi, babies. Hi. You might want to go over and check out the YouTube channel because the setup is cute. It's in my apartment. It just screams one woman show. It screams low budget. It screams wannabe influencer. It screams niche internet micro celebrity, which this is satire, by the way. I am not a celebrity. It is purely satire. Also, I've got some blue nails going on because the color scheme of Girl on the Internet for season 2 or the remodel is a beautiful shade of royal blue, and I'm thrilled. So we went for some blue nails, which I did myself, and yeah, I'm just like in this cozy corner, and I'm just pumped to be recording today's episode. And by the way, happy 1989 Taylor's version release month to all those who celebrate. It is coming in hot. We've got just a few more weeks before we get one of the best pop albums of all time re-recorded and re-owned by the one, the only Miss Taylor Swift. Cannot wait. So excited. I will continue to be insane when that album comes out. Can't wait. Every single re-release, I've just been like losing my actual mind. And I'm just so excited that she gets to finally own her music. It's a big deal. Ask your Swiftie friends why it's a big deal for her to own her music again. I would go into a full podcast episode about that if you would like to know anything about that. It's a huge deal. So very excited. 1989 is really that girl. And also she has a few bonus vault track songs on there that I cannot wait to hear personally. So I will be a different person when that album comes out. So just steer clear of me for that. So prepare to be sick of me. Prepare to be sick of me. So like I said, the video form of this podcast is going to be up on my YouTube channel on Tuesdays. And if you're not watching on a Tuesday, I'm just going to give you a little description of what this setup looks like. So I'm on this really cute like off-white Sherpa couch, like a little mini Sherpa couch. It's definitely like a little, I'm not good with like furniture and interior design. It's not like a full-size couch. It's just like a little mini couch, like something you would just put in like a spare room or like a mud room or something like that. I also have this nice little white table to my side. We've got a plant in the corner. We've got the podcast mic arm set up on my table in no particular order of importance. I have my iPad because I'm an iPad girly now. I've got my Aquaphor, not sponsored, because when I record, my lips get incredibly dry, and this tube has seen better days. Aquaphor, please sponsor me. And my emotional support water bottle, which I don't know if that's like an annoying like millennial trait to have an emotional support water bottle, but I will not take the slander because she's everything to me. Okay. I love a water bottle. Like, I love a water bottle. Simple Modern is one of the best. Again, not sponsored, but Simple Modern is truly one of the best water bottles I've ever had. I'm not really a big fan of these like big, what are they? Like the Stanley cups. I have a whole de-influencing video about that. Why y'all paying $50 for a cup? I do not understand. Some of them are cute. Yeah, I get it. But like the Simple Modern ones are cute and inexpensive. And those are the only ones I buy. So just saying, if you need something inexpensive and cute, here you go. Also, like, we've got like a little white cream off-white aesthetic going on. Unintentional, but I love neutrals. What can I say? Anyways, let's get into today's episode. I wanted to talk a little bit about FOMO because I feel like I talk about so many things on this podcast about, you know, spending time with your friends, but also valuing time alone, enjoying those solo endeavors, being independent, learning to just do things alone. But I've never really talked about what it means to experience FOMO or to have FOMO. And for those of you that don't know what FOMO stands for, it's FOMO, and that stands for fear of missing out. For me, the definition of FOMO is you are seeing all your friends out on social media. Looks like they're all at a party, they're all at some social gathering, and everyone seems to be having the best time. Everyone's posting about it. It looks super fun. Or even if they're not posting about it, even if you know all your friends or people, you know, acquaintances, people that you know have all gotten together and they are all going to one place and they're having the best time. And it just looks like a blast, and you're not there. And you start to question a lot about the situation. Why was I not invited? Did I get invited and I just didn't want to go? Do my friends even really like me if they didn't invite me? Or did they invite me and I didn't go? And do they even care that I'm not there? Maybe they're not my friends. Again, maybe they're just acquaintances or people, or everyone's like at this one concert in the city that I live in and I'm not there. FOMO is really this state of being, this mindset of, wow, I wish I was there. I fear that I'm missing out on something fun and I wish I could be a part of it, but I'm not, because I'm not there. I am at school, I'm at home, I have other plans, fill in the blank. And I think we as humans, especially those of us that are in our, you know, teens, early 20s, late 20s, when we're sort of developing these years of wanting to be accepted and find these friend groups and build relationships, we want to just insert ourselves into everything possible. We want to be invited to all the things. We want to expand our friend groups. We want to be included in things. I think that's human nature to some capacity, just wanting to be included in things, to not feel left out, to not feel sort of alone or, you know, like a lone wolf kind of thing. And I go back and forth all the time with like, is FOMO even real? Or do we put ourselves in these positions of, it's like a false mentality. It's kind of like, am I really fearing this like idea of missing out? Or does it just like look fun in the moment kind of thing? FOMO makes me think of like Coachella, where people are posting about Coachella, which if you don't know, it's a huge music festival. I think it happens every year, and I think it's in California. Huge music festival. All these like big artists go. It's like in the middle of the desert. I think it's in the Coachella Valley. That would make sense why it's called Coachella. So much content and They're just talking about how amazing it is and they have tickets and blah, blah, blah. But then when you watch people's like behind the scenes of Coachella, it's like, yeah, you did this awesome music festival, cool Airbnb, sick outfits, but like it's in the middle of the desert. It's hot as hell. It's dusty. It's expensive. It's hot. It's sweaty. You have to like walk a million miles to get from like one place to the other to a venue to like watch your favorite artist. And in reality, it looks so cool. You're watching all your favorite people go to this music festival when you're at home scrolling on Instagram, looking at everyone's photos of Coachella. And then in reality, you're like, oh, I wish I was there. It looks so fun. I have this fear of missing out on something as cool as Coachella. But then again, I think, do you really have that fear, or does it just appear way cooler than it actually is? And I think this is something that we can constantly ask ourselves for whatever the situation is. Do you really have FOMO when all your friends are going out to see this one artist at a concert that you don't really care about? Do you just wish you were there having that experience with your friends and you were there with your friends? Because otherwise you don't really care about the artists themselves. You know what I mean? Another thing that I always like to think about in terms of FOMO is social media all to blame? I mean, when did this terminology of FOMO really become a thing? Because I don't think our parents' generations, they talked about FOMO. You know what I mean? Maybe it existed, it just wasn't called FOMO. I just think social media, like so many things that social media has done, I think it has just magnified this idea that everybody except for you is doing something so much cooler, more fun, more exciting, more riveting, and everyone's having the best time and everyone's doing really cool things, and you're just not there and you're not part of it because you're not cool enough, you're not special enough, and your life sucks. And we all know that's not true. I mean, how many podcasters or blah, blah, people, me included, have said social media is a highlight reel. Most people are posting only the most exciting things that are happening, their best angles, their best this, their best that, their European vacation, their concerts, their this, their that. When people are out having a good time, or even aside from the fact of, you think FOMO in the term of like, in the sense of all my friends are here doing this, they're having a good time, they're out and about and I'm not there. You can exclude that. You can even think FOMO in terms of like, all my friends are getting married. All my friends are in really long-term relationships and everyone seems happy and I'm not. Everyone's getting promoted at their job. Everyone's doing this. Like FOMO can really apply to like anything in life. I think I just tend to think of it in terms of everyone's at a social gathering and then you're just not part of it. I do partially think social media is to blame when it comes to FOMO because we are constantly given this instant gratification. We constantly are posting on our stories, we're making TikToks, we're making posts, we're doing this, we're doing reels, we're doing Snapchats, like so many little elements of what we do and the fun that we're having, we're posting it online. We've all done it. We all go somewhere, we all post something, and then people are messaging you like, looks so much fun, looks like a great time. But I think, again, we have to go back and ask ourselves, is this truly a fear of missing out, or is it just like, that looks like fun, I wish I was there? Another thing too, I don't think people realize is that FOMO is really a cycle. It's this fear of missing out, and then you kind of feel self-conscious or bad about yourself, and then you're like, okay, they're having fun, they're having a good time. The next time that something happens and I get invited to, I'm definitely going. And then you go and then you're like, okay, it wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be. So next time I can say no, I can miss it. And then like another event happens and then you say no, and then you get FOMO again. And it's just this kind of cycle of, what am I really doing? Am I really, really missing out on these opportunities? Or is it just this idea that I want to be there and I want to be a part of it? Because again, human nature is we want to be accepted. We want to feel included. We want to feel appreciated. We want to feel like we're part of something bigger than just ourselves. No one wants to be lonely, alone, sad and by themselves. Human nature is to want to be accepted and want to be a part of something. So it's natural for us to have these thoughts of FOMO and like wanting something more. Something else that so many of us forget in terms of what it's like to grow up, whether you're in your late teens, your mid to early into late 20s, is we just want to conform, whether we agree to it or not. We always like to say, I'm a leader, not a follower. I like to be individualistic. I like to do my own things. To some capacity, you're going to follow societal norms. whether you acknowledge it or not. It just is up to you as to how much of that you are truly following. Are you going to follow every single cool trend that happens? Are you going to be a part of something that is so much bigger than what you really realize? But at the end of the day, it's all about this desire to conform and this desire to be a part of something. And in return, we constantly think the grass is always greener. Think about any job you've ever had where someone that you worked with quit and got another job. You're like, oh my gosh, they're so smart. They went to this other job where their pay is better, their hours are better, this is better. But is the grass really greener? I mean, every job is going to have its nuance. There's no such thing as a perfect job or a perfect career. There's always going to be something, no matter what. You could almost say the same thing for if you were in a relationship. You're like, wow, being in a relationship looks so amazing. You get to be with somebody. You get to have that like codependency. You get to have someone to live with or to love with or to be around or to spend time with. But then you could also be like, wow, being single is amazing too, because you get to actually explore this time to be by yourself and enjoy that time by yourself. So you can always point the finger and always say that the grass is greener. And that's what I feel like FOMO really is. You're like looking at this situation, you're like, gosh, this looks so much fun. I wish I was there. I wish I was a part of it. But then in return, it's like, okay, but is it everything that it's cracked up to be? And the answer is, I don't think that it is. I feel like I've dealt with FOMO my entire life. I feel like I'm definitely doing better now as I'm entering my late 20s. I'm getting old, but definitely in those early years where you want to be included, you want to be a part of everything possible. I can remember when I was younger, like in high school, my friends were doing something and I wasn't invited, or I said no willingly. It just felt like a stab to the back. I was like, dang, everyone's having the best time. I'm not there. No one cares that I'm not there. This sucks. Like, I'm missing out on all these like big opportunities. I'm missing out on all this fun, blah, blah, blah. But then like time goes on, life happens, and you kind of forget about this like one little teeny tiny instance of a thing that you didn't go to, because odds are the thing that you're having FOMO about isn't this like life altering crazy thing that's never going to happen again. You're having FOMO because all your friends went to a party at a club on a Saturday night that is probably going to happen again, or going to happen again, or going to happen again. It's one thing to have FOMO on maybe like a once in a lifetime cool experience or whatever. But so many of us have FOMO over things that are just so small and silly and aren't that deep anyways. And then in terms of, is it this big monumental thing I'm missing out on? Or is it just like a chill Saturday night where everyone's going out and it looks like a lot of fun? Does it stem from a place of insecurity? Do you feel like you're not there and your friends don't like you? Is it this like weird anxiety thing where you start to fill your head with these lies where you're like, they don't like me, they didn't want me there, it's, they're having fun without me, or all my friends are all couples and because I'm single, they didn't want to invite me, and then that makes me feel insecure that I don't have a significant other or something. Insecurity definitely is rooted in FOMO to some capacity, because you want to be a part of this thing and you're not there, or you're not invited or whatever. And then it just feels like it's a blow at your ego a little bit. But I would like to inform you that as much as it feels that way, it's not. Just because your friends didn't invite you, or just because the people that you kind of know didn't invite you, or even if they did invite you and you said no, or again, not thinking about actual physical things to go do, thinking about life, thinking about being married, having the best job, buying a house. It's so easy to feel left out, or to feel behind, or to feel like you're not in the right place. But it doesn't always mean the grass is greener. And it doesn't mean that your time is not going to come for that either. Because if it's meant to be, it won't pass you by. If you were meant to be at that party, or to be buying that house, or to be getting this upgraded position at your job, it wouldn't pass you by if it was meant to be. And to some, whatever, everything happens for a reason, whatever it is that you believe in, there's a reason that it's not your time to get married. It's not your time to buy a house. It's not your time to go to the college of your dreams. Like, just because it feels like you're missing out on an opportunity doesn't mean that that opportunity is not going to later knock on your door and be like, hey, now it's the time for you. Because we know how life works. We know there is no official timeline. Things happen for people at all different times in their life. And I think that's such an important thing to remember. But when we're stuck in this moment of having FOMO, we don't think rationally. We're not thinking, okay, well, this happened for my friend, this big opportunity, this big thing happened for her. I'm happy for her, but I'm sad it didn't happen for me. That's how we typically think. We don't normally think, yay, I'm so happy for my friend. I know that my time will come eventually. We're not thinking that. Rationally, we're like, I'm so happy for them and I'm sad for me, because that's just how our brains work. And that's why it's worth taking the time and the effort to think, okay, what will happen for me will come in time. And whatever opportunity I think I'm missing out on, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm missing out on anything. And sometimes it can be for the better that you're not a part of it, or it's not your time for that opportunity because you don't know if something bigger and better is down the line for you. And you don't even know if like that thing that you think you're missing out on isn't even really worth it. And most of the time it's not. And especially if it's these small little like gatherings with your friends or a weekend trip or whatever, it's one small blip in your timeline, and it's not going to be the worst thing in the world if you're not a part of it. I promise. If you're feeling out of the loop, if you're feeling like you're not part of something, ask yourself this: is it really all that it's cracked up to be? I mean, really? Is it so important that I feel that I have to waste my time being upset, sad, left out? Is it worth it to really just like sit in this pity and to be playing the woe is me card? Probably not. There's so many other things that you can be grateful for, the things that you do have. Instead of focusing so much on what you are lacking or the things that you're not a part of or the things you weren't invited to or the opportunities you feel like you're missing out on, take a step back and think about the things that you are grateful for, the things that you do appreciate in your life, the things that you have been included in, the opportunities that you have had so far. Because again, not everything is meant for everybody. Not every single opportunity in life is going to be handed to you. We are going to miss opportunities. We are going to be rejected from things. We are going to be excluded from things. And that's just how life is. And that's what no one wants to hear, but it's the truth. Now, when all of my friends who are married or couples, when they go have a big couple night, I can't expect to be invited as a single person. And it's not to be a shameful thing. It's not to be like a slap in the face. It's not meant to be this like woe is me thing. It's like, this is just an opportunity that's not for me. It's not to be inclusive for me specifically. And that's okay, because one day the opportunity will come for me, or maybe it won't. Maybe something else will happen. And that's just something that we really have to remind ourselves, which again, it's not easy to think that rationally, because sometimes we want to, have this pity party, and that's okay, but you got to move on from it. You can't live in this state of FOMO, of anxiety, of feeling left out, of feeling sad all the time, because it's worthless. It's a waste of your time. It's not productive. It's not going to get you anywhere. And then you're just going to spiral, and you're going to be in this rut, and you're going to think, woe is me. I have no friends. No one cares about me. No one invites me anywhere. And so on and so forth. And it ain't worth it. It is not worth it. I promise. One example that really sticks out for me when it comes to FOMO is I went to community college for college. I lived at home. I commuted to school, and I did not have like the normal university experience. Want to talk about fun? And again, this was my own choice. I had excellent grades in high school. I was a good student. I had a career-driven mindset. I could have went to a lot of colleges that I wanted to go to. But guess what I didn't want to do? I didn't really want to go to college. I didn't want to go to a university. I don't love the idea of sharing a dorm room, of, being on this gigantic campus. I don't love like huge social gatherings 24/7. I don't like going out 24/7. Partying is not really my thing. Maybe a couple times a year, but not all the time. The stereotypical American version of college university was not my vibe. It did not seem like something I would enjoy. And I decided I didn't want to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Wouldn't have traded it for the world at this point, because I have a career that I love. I'm making money that is suitable for me. I live by my means. Everything is great. Can't complain. But if you want to talk about FOMO, go to a community college and watch all your friends go to universities. And then you're like, man, what if I enjoyed the football games every other weekend? Would I have enjoyed the college parties, the frat houses, the making college friends, the living in the dorms, the sororities, whatever? It's so easy to spiral, because I would watch my friends constantly on social media, week after week after week, going to college parties, doing this, having like really cool college adventures, joining sorority houses, making friends that, you talk to all the time in your adulthood. If you want to talk FOMO, oh my God, I live, laugh, love, breathe FOMO, because I was like, wow, I'm like missing out on so many opportunities. Like there were multiple times like right after I graduated college that I cried a lot thinking about how different my life could have been had I gone to a regular university. I thought all the time, like, what would my life be had I gone to a regular college? Would I have different friends? Would I be in a more significant relationship? Would I fill in the blank? But you can't look at life in terms of what if or what could have happened. Because your life could go in a billion different directions. If you think the butterfly effect, what would have happened if I did this versus this versus this versus not met this friend versus done this versus gone to this school? So you can play the what if game all day, but it's not productive and it's not going to get you anywhere. And maybe like 4 or 5 times a year, I would drive to my friend's school. I would stay the night in their dorm room. I would eat the dorm food, go to the cafeteria, go to a football game, go out to the clubs, whatever it was. And I would get the college experience and I would go home and like continue my life that way. And again, the whole grass is greener thing, whatever, this FOMO thing. Every time I would go out with my friends, love my friends, but I'd be like, I'm kind of glad I chose the college route that I chose. Like, I still don't think that this is for me. It was fun to go hang out with my friends, to kind of have that like real college experience. But in the end, when I would come home every weekend after like the weekend of partying and like football games and stuff, I'd be like, yeah, I'm kind of glad with the decision that I made. And like, this is much more for me. And again, in return, if we're talking, it's always, grass is always greener on the other side. Like, what did I come from it? Like, opportunity. I now have no student debt, zero. I owe $0 to the government for student loans because I went to community college, saved my money, commuted from home, and now I get to live in a city doing a job that I love, having a secondary job that I love. And that to me is all about opportunity, FOMO, how things can lead you to something else. And you never know if there's a better, bigger picture for you down the line. My biggest takeaway about this episode with FOMO and this fear like you're missing out on something, whether it be just something small like a party or a life opportunity, a job, a milestone in life, ask yourself, do I really care? Or am I just trying to fit into some societal norm? Do I want to be a part of something bigger and better and whatever? Or do I like really, really, really care about this thing? Or do I just want the status of it? Or do I just want the idea of something being cool and amazing and wonderful? Or what's really in it for me if I decide to do it, other than just being involved in a social thing or being part of something with my friends? Something to keep in mind, something to ask yourself, because again, it is so easy to get caught up in this idea of FOMO or this idea that you're being left out on everything, because sometimes life makes you feel that way and you feel a little bit left out, but I can guarantee in the end, you're making way bigger of a deal about it than you really think. Alrighty, Girl on the Internet podcast listeners, if this is your first episode of mine, thank you so much for listening all the way through. If you're an OG, if you've been here for a minute, appreciate you as well. Now, the fun thing about the ends of every single episode, because this podcast is called Girl on the Internet, because I really despise the title of influencer and content creator. I use lightly because I don't hate it as much, but influencer to me has always been very cringy and I try to not use it. So I'm like, I'm literally just a girl on the internet. That's where it comes from. The fun part about my podcast is at the very end of every episode, I share with you a random fun fact that I looked up on the internet, because the internet is full of fun and wacky things. And for today, to end out the podcast episode, cats, dogs, and many other nocturnal creatures appear to have glowing eyes, especially at night, because the back of their eyeballs include a special reflective layer called the tapetum lucidum. This helps animals see better in low light by working like a mirror on the retina to reflect the light back through the eyes. Slay. If you've always wondered why when you are taking a video of your cat and like their eyes like reflect, there you go. Do you see how much you just learned on this podcast? You learned about FOMO, you learned about just not giving into societal pressure, and you learned why cats' eyes glow in the dark at night. So you're welcome. Thank you so much for listening to yet another week's episode of Girl on the Internet podcast. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for just giving all the love and support to this podcast. I never thought people would ever actually listen to this, but here we are. So thank you so much. Make sure if you're listening right now, you check out the video forum on my YouTube channel every single Tuesday, or every Tuesday that I remember. Because remember, this is a one-woman show out here doing our best. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Kayla Nelson. That way you can see my regular weekly uploads on top of the podcast on Tuesdays. You can listen to the podcast on Apple or Spotify for podcasters, or anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Make sure you follow my Instagram for the podcast at Girl on the Internet Pod, and my regular Instagram, which is at sincerely.kayla. You can follow me on TikTok. I've had to update my name, but it's at sincerely.kayla. Because one period was taken, so we are 2 periods at sincerely.kayla on TikTok. As always, remember to go easy on yourself, and I'll see you next week with a new episode. Bye. What a weirdo, my first video. So weird.